When the weather warms up, so does the real estate market. Sounds obvious, right? It's true. Spring typically means more home sales. But how will the current interest rates affect people's decisions? What about inventory? Is it high or low? And does that benefit the buyer or the seller? And how do those factors take into account a certain price point or area of the triad? Now it's not so obvious, is it? That's why you should turn to the Ginther Group to make sense of it all. You need someone you can rely on to assess your situation, read the data and trends, and point you in the right direction. Interest rates, inventory, even new construction. There are so many factors that impact our local market. And you should get your information from the folks right here in our backyard. Contact Blake Ginther and the Ginther Group today, 336-283-8689, or visit theginthergroup.com. Buying, selling, investing, or just learning, whatever you need, start now. And like me, you can become a Ginther Group client for life.
This is the Triad Podcast Network.
I wish that the sense of smell was something that you could experience on a podcast, because it's one of my favorite places to record. Walking into Dewey's over here at Thruway Shopping Center in Winston-Salem. And it's a special time of year. We're here with Kayla and Jennifer for another episode of our Dewey's podcast. And we've got a special guest here to talk more about some of the unique things that happen here, not just this time of year, but any time of year. But before we do that, Kayla, Jennifer, great to speak with you again. Spring is in the air. And what does that mean here at Dewey's?
It means Hot Cross Buns. It's Hot Cross Bun season. It's Easter cake square season. What else?
We're getting ready to roll out carrot cake on the 20th, so I know everybody's looking forward to bringing carrot cake back for the season.
Carrot cake's only in Easter time?
Yeah, we started first day of spring, usually goes till about the first day of summer, so it's a very short time, but it's one of my favorite flavors.
Okay. How crazy is it? The last time we spoke was getting into the winter holidays and Christmas time, but what is it like here during Easter and springtime celebrations?
It's like a little mini Christmas.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's
Mini
busy. It's like Christmas Junior.
Yeah.
CJ.
Yeah, we'll call him CJ for short. I like
CJ
it.
time. Yeah.
But it's really fun. And it's like right before wedding season. So like right now I'm getting a lot of people that are getting ready to like start their wedding season planning, pricing. So it's really exciting. It's like everything is coming alive again, you know?
Yeah. So when we talk going into December, there were certain staples that people get around that time. You mentioned the cake squares with the candles and the wreaths and the Santa Claus and the Christmas trees. What are the staples that people tend to get this time of year?
Well, Kayla mentioned the number one, Hot Cross Buns.
Okay. Explain those for those for the uninitiated.
They start on the first day of the Lent season. So it's always on a Wednesday, and they come in boxes of 6, but they're basically like a little yeast roll, and they have fruit and nuts in them, the same fruit and nuts that are in the fruit cake. So we just kind of like repeat the fruit cake again, but in a roll form or dinner roll form. They're very good. People love them. They come from all over. They have a little icing cross on the top, so a white cross, and then a pink dot at each point of the cross. And the little tradition about them, every year we make them, they're always white with the pink thing, but the last pan that we make of the season gets a red cross with a white dot, and that signifies that's the last pan that we'll make for the season. And after Easter is over, no more Hot Cross Buns until next year.
Okay, so get them now.
Yeah.
Easter is coming up it's later this year.
April 20th.
Yeah, so it's getting close to late April, so you still got time as of this recording. You may have up to a month, but once that last batch is done, it's over.
You won't see them again until next year.
Next spring. Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that we've talked about, I think, on all of our podcasts so far is designs, right? Whether it's cake squares or full-on cakes for different occasions. It's really unique and impressive what Dewey's can do when it comes to designs of your treats for your occasion. And today we're going to talk with a gentleman named Lewis, who is a celebration specialist here at Dewey's. What is a celebration specialist?
So a celebration specialist, Dewey's really is the one-stop shop for celebrating. We have everything that you could need. We have balloons, we have paper tableware, obviously we have the cake. We just have everything that you need. So as we were kind of rebranding and figuring out like what direction we wanted to take Dewey's, we didn't want them to be just a retail associate. We were like, let's put a fun twist on it. So Lewis is a celebration specialist. So he specializes in celebrating. So from taking the cake orders to helping the customers, maybe helping them pick out balloons for their party or plates and napkins, candles, all that. So it's a more elevated experience than maybe something that you would get somewhere else.
So this isn't just about creating the ideal cake or the ideal dessert. This is, if you want to plan something, it goes way beyond that.
Yeah,
right?
It goes way beyond that. Lewis really has to, in all of our celebration specialists, they really have to talk to the customer, figure out what it is that they're celebrating, what the theme is, and just really be in tune with what we have going on in the bakery so that he can kind of point them in the best direction, just so that they can get everything that they need while they're here.
How has that evolved over the years and months in terms of realizing, okay, this is something that has become a need in terms of serving our customers for whatever they require?
Yeah, I think our number one category it's obviously cakes, and we've turned more to specialty cakes than our regular everyday cakes. So it really requires someone that's creative. It requires someone that wants to talk to the customer, that wants to help, and wants to make sure that they have everything that they need. And we have a pretty good staff just to be able to bounce ideas off of each other, and really help the customer.
Jennifer, what have you noticed about the way that a celebration specialist interacts with the customers?
So we give a unique experience, I would say. Like, they're anticipating the need before maybe even the customer sees it. We really pride ourselves in going above and beyond any other area or any other bakery, in my experience, like, going to the grocery store is a different experience than coming to Dewey's. Mm-hmm. Dewey's, we're going to think about point 1 to all the way to point 10, I guess I would say. But there's a lot that goes into it. And like Kayla said, we're a one-stop shop. We can help you think of everything you need for your party.
Well, what do you say we get to know Lewis
Yeah.
a little bit? Hi, Lewis. How are you?
Hey.
Great start. Okay, so Lewis, did they tee it up okay? Did they explain?
Yeah,
what would you add to what they said about your area of expertise here?
Anything I would add? I mean, a lot of the times people don't actually know what they need when they first come in. So they kind of expect you to help out a little bit in that circumstance. So, and a lot of times they're like, oh, I need a round cake, but it's for this person. They don't really care about designs. It's like, okay, well, that makes things easy. But, in some cases they're like, yeah, it has this color theme. They give you like a swatch and you're like, okay, well, then you got to run
like from the paint store.
Yeah.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
Yeah,
A few
okay.
times it's happened with that. And they're like, okay, I need these color for the icings, and it's going to have these flowers, and some people get really, really, really particular. And I respect that. I do. And sometimes, things might not work out. So you mentioned we go from 1, 2, 3. Well, we go from plan A to Z, and sometimes we skip straight to Y. And, and that's chill. Like I said, some people just... They come in, they know exactly what they want, and some people need a little bit of help, and that's okay.
Yeah, so you're willing to be able to do something with somebody, no matter if they have a fully formed idea in their head, or if it's just a completely blank canvas. Say, this is the date, and this is how many people are coming.
Yes.
Go.
Yes. Yeah.
We love those customers.
Really? So that you'd rather put your creative minds to work?
Yeah.
If you had the preference, you'll do either,
Yeah.
but you'd rather put your creative mind to
For
work.
the most part, I think it's more fun.
Yeah.
And then, it gets the customer more engaged, and they get more excited about the upcoming celebration. And then you're like, oh, well, now I'm getting excited for it. I don't even know you. So it's great. And then you ask if you're invited. They usually say, yeah. And then you don't get the invitation.
Actually.
Speaking of,
Go
we've had
on.
some crazy things happen recently. I went out for a birthday party with one of our friends it's actually Navy, our cake manager. And we were at the restaurant, and I look over and there was a Dewey's box. And I was like, oh, wow, like, that's really cool. And Navy rushed over there, and I looked at the man, and I was like, did I help you earlier get your cake? And he was like, you did help me. He, like, paid our whole dinner tab. He was like, you guys made this, like, the most seamless process that you could have ever, like, done. He was like, we just want to thank you so much. So that was really cool to happen. And then we've also gotten in the last week, like, 2 wedding invitations in the mail.
Yeah, we got invited.
Yeah, we got actually invited. I'm going.
Where is it?
One's
Is
in
it here?
Grayland. Yeah, one's at Grayland, and the other one's in Hickory.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it's in Hickory.
Gotta go to a Grayland wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
We have to go. I think let's put our dancing shoes on and
I'm ready.
let's go.
And we'll obviously bring the cake.
I know, right? Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think that's really special. Like, that doesn't happen anywhere else. It doesn't happen at a grocery store or an insurance company. You know, it's fun.
That is a personal touch.
Yeah.
Admittedly, we got our wedding cake created by a grocery store. We did not even have a thought of inviting that individual. This was years. To be fair, I did not even know about Dewey's because I hadn't been in Winston-Salem long enough to understand it. All over again. When my wife and I renew our vows, we will.
You have to.
We will get the Dewey's
to come
cake.
see Lewis.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about a wedding cake. I don't know how to do that.
Okay. Yeah. That's a lot of work. Okay. So weddings. You got weddings.
We have 2 invitations.
Yeah, we got 2 invites.
Okay. Yeah. You got to go, and then we obviously have to do a recap pod.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll let you know how the celebrations went.
We're great wedding guests.
I do not doubt that. Lewis, what brought you to Winston-Salem? Tell us as much as you'd like to share about your story coming here and then becoming a celebration specialist here at Dewey's.
Yeah, sure. I graduated from App State. I noticed your wedding.
Yes.
Yeah. I noticed your wedding.
Knew I got good vibes from him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mountaineer. I studied theater performance or acting, which is a fancier word to say that. And looking around as I was starting to graduate, I was like, man, I need to figure out what's next, right? So I was thinking of moving back to Raleigh. I'm originally from there. Because I already had some connections with some other theater companies, and I was like, well, I could do that. But I kind of wanted to go somewhere new that I haven't been yet. And Winston was definitely on the map because it's a very artsy city.
Yep.
A lot of good theaters here. So I was like, well, you know what? And the rent was not as expensive as Raleigh. So there's also that.
There is that, yes.
Being, completely honest. So I was like, you know what? Sure. I'll give Winston a shot. And packed my bags, moved here. And then I was obviously looking for a job while I moved down here. And I have experience in, my resume, if you look at it, it's just food service.
Okay.
It's just food service. So I worked at Ben & Jerry's before here. And I was like, I like sweets still. I was like, maybe I work at a bakery to get my sweet tooth out of me. So I was looking around and I saw Dewey's popped up. And I was like, oh, Dewey's. That's a pretty silly name. Let me look into it. So I kept doing more research and I realized Dewey's is kind of a big deal around here.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, maybe I can walk in for an application. So I did one day and I don't remember who's behind the counter, but I asked if they had paper applications. He went, yep. And he handed me one. And I was like, all right, cool. And then the next day I returned it and got an interview here, and now I'm here.
And you realized that it opened yourself to a whole new world of your sweet tooth,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah. I thought I was going to get sick of sweets, and
No, never.
not here.
Okay, so how did it become... So when you first got the job here, where did it start, and then how did it evolve to what you're doing now?
Well, it first started with, as basic as I can get, put cake in box, give to customer. And then as it progressed, you start taking more orders for people. People were like, okay, I need a basic round cake. And you're like, okay, I can do that.
Okay.
And then you grab the little form and you're like, round cake, size 6 inch? Yeah, okay. But anyway, and then, you... As soon as you start doing that, you get more comfy with that, and then you start picking up the phone. People order cakes from the phone, and then eventually you work your way to custom cakes, and now I make the ice cream here, and that's a whole bunch of other goodies too. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you like most about work. First of all, I want to get your reaction because I feel like Jennifer, you and Kayla are learning about some of this for the first time. You're learning Lewis's story a little bit, so I want to get some immediate reaction from each of you.
Yeah, what y'all think? Rate it out of 10.
Laughing over here.
You interviewed Lewis.
Oh yes, I actually am the one that interviewed Lewis and hired him.
Okay.
We kind of hit it off because I'd just been to Boone, so I had actually been to the Ben and Jerry's he'd worked at, and I had a good experience there. So we kind of like hit it off like right from the beginning.
My boys treated her right.
Yep, they
out.
sure did.
If you're listening from Boone, stop by.
Well, we'll make sure of that.
Say hi to Bo for me.
Boone's a fun town.
Yeah, it is.
But we also, got to talking about like his experience with like theater and stuff. And I am a former drama, not
thespian.
major. Yeah, I'm a former thespian. Thank you. I haven't
you
used
go.
that word in a while.
There you go.
Because I don't do it anymore. But yeah, so we kind of just hit it off, and he had a really good personality, very unique, seemed very professional, down to earth, like checked all the boxes, in my opinion, had really good experience. So, and he's kind of like been doing really great ever since. So he's worked his way up to making ice cream. That's one of not a very many people do that here. You really have to be trained and really have to put a lot of trust.
That's
in
a craft.
It is a craft, and it's a very expensive form of machinery as well.
You also have to be pretty strong.
Yes.
I don't want to say that I am strong, but my God, I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah.
For anyone who's watching, there's a very large machine that sits right behind the counter, and you dump the heavy cream mixture, ice cream base, and then you take a paddle, and you have to scoop it all out
While it's moving.
freezes.
And that's a lot of tension to work through.
Yep.
Paddle. Yeah.
So anyway.
Wow. Impressive. It's time to get serious about your financial future. It's never too early, but it could be too late to get started. And that's oftentimes the hardest part, getting started. How much do I save? Where do I invest? Do I save for college or retirement? How much for each? And who do I talk to about it all? Okay, we'll keep things simple for now and help you answer the last one. We recommend you begin with a local financial advisor, and that's Jennifer Johnson of Three Magnolias Financial Advisors. She'll sit down with you for a complimentary introductory consultation and go over all of your questions. Get started on the path to achieving your financial goals. Visit threemagnoliasfinancialadvisors.com or call 336-701-1600. Get comfortable with your financial future. Three Magnolias Financial Advisors. Retirement, financial planning, and investments.
Securities offered through Private Client Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Three Magnolias Financial Advisors. Three Magnolias Financial Advisors and Private Client Services are not affiliated. Private Client Services is under separate ownership from any other named entity.
What do you like most about working here?
Okay, there's a few things. I love who I work with, obviously, as you can already tell. Mm-hmm. Fantastic managers.
Great chemistry
Yeah,
here,
that's
yeah.
right. Fantastic people behind the counter. Everyone super works well. Great. That's awesome. Also, I think a bigger thing is that Dewey's is such a important tradition to a lot of people. I never realized how important it actually was until, some people come in, they go, I've been having these cake squares since they first opened. I remember when they were 50 cents. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Grandpa. Here's your cake square. And then, it's like, wow, for 60 plus years, people have been coming here with their kids and now their grandkids. And it's like, that's really cool. Like, it's really cool to continue that tradition and be a part of it. And, I don't know. I just think that's really neat. Yeah. And making people happy with whatever cake designs they come up with. And, like I said before, getting excited about that. So a whole bunch of good stuff.
Yeah. So sounds like working with the customers and your coworkers is a highlight of yours. I don't know if making the ice cream is something that you enjoy, but you understand the value.
I do. I
you understand the value to it. What is the number one thing that if you know that you're going to do something when you come into the store that day, it gets you more excited than anything else?
Oh, ice cream. Yeah.
Okay.
I do some jumping jacks in my room, get warmed up, some stretches, and then head into here. And then hunker down over by that little counter and sit there and churn my ice cream, scoop it all out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's the best flavor here?
I personally, honestly, I really just like the chocolate. I know it's a basic answer, but I really like the chocolate.
Y'all okay with that answer?
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. The chocolate's good. We have a honey latte. It's like a creamy coffee flavor that's also good.
I like
Okay.
vanilla.
I like the vanilla too. Sometimes I'll do like a half scoop vanilla, half scoop of chocolate.
There
I
you
can't
go.
decide.
Yeah.
So
Lewis has
we'll let
been
you do
known
that.
for coming in here and saying the vanilla's ready, and I'll run out there.
It's a big moment.
Sits there and watches me make it.
It's a big moment. I'd love to hear you, Lewis, just your experience. So you work at other places.
Mm-hmm.
You've worked in food services as a student. You've worked at other ice cream places. But what would you say about the things you've noticed here, just in terms of the level of detail that it's put in here in terms of the creations?
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Hey. Well, coming from some other food service jobs, right? For the most part, I'm not going to absolutely belittle other companies, but when you go to a kitchen, like in the back, and they put the food on the plate or whatever, and they hand it out, obviously it should look pretty, but it's going to look the same every single time that they hand you that plate. Or it should. Let me say that. It should look the same.
Yeah.
Unless someone wants something else, but whatever. Anyway, yeah. Here, though, every single time I hand a cake, it looks different. For the most part. Obviously, the basic design should look the same. But anyway, whenever someone orders like, oh, I need this on top of my cake, and they give me like the specific design. It looks gorgeous. You hand them out. The detail that our decorators put into all of these cakes is incredible. Working at Ben & Jerry's, like, I'm going to be honest, there's not a lot of detail into scooping some ice cream, scoop, cup, here.
Right.
Honestly, not a lot. You can add, like, you can drizzle on chocolate fudge or whatever and make it look a little prettier, but there's really not much. Here, though, yeah, this is a craft.
Yeah. I hope people listening will appreciate the next time they come into Dewey's for ice cream, just how much work went into it, and just savor it just a little bit more
right.
as a result,
That's
right?
Yeah.
It's good. It's the best ice cream I've had.
it is good ice cream.
Can't beat the quality.
Yeah. I think we've for sure learned that in this
I might
conversation.
have to have some ice cream after this podcast.
I think that's going to be on the menu. All right. So, Lewis, you're very comfortable in sharing some of these stories. So now I have to ask, just, do you have any good stories for us in terms of what's the most unique or memorable either task that you performed or order that you've taken or project that you've worked on? Do you have anything good that comes to mind?
I do. I have a few. A lot of people come in. Well, I say a lot, but a few people now have come in with like AI generated cake images.
Huh.
And it's kind of tricky to do because it's not real.
Right.
So obviously you have to kind of let them know, like, hey, this is AI generated and we can't make this look exactly like the image. We can get really darn close though. Mm-hmm. And, for the most part, the customer's like, oh yeah, I know. Like, it's, as long as you make it look fairly similar to the image, I'm pretty happy. It's like, okay, well, that's good. Perfect. There's a few times of that. I haven't taken like an incredibly like complicated, intricate order. If you want one of those, you can ask one of my coworkers, Matthew. The other day, he sat for like, I think 2 hours talking to this woman about, she wanted 2 different cake square platters for a bridal shower. And she wanted very specific flowers on it. And he was sitting there and he was drawing them out onto like the cake square platters, not on the platters themselves, but like on a piece of paper. And he was like, how does this look? And we're doing it in this color. And he has a little swatch of colors and like, this one's going to be indigo. This one's going to be like a kind of pale red. And then, he's getting really, really into it. And he told me that at one point he took home a cake order to finish at home and then bring it back the next day.
Oh, wow.
Because of how intricate he was trying to get with it. I don't have any stories like that, but
Man,
yeah, I know, right?
We are dedicated.
we've got a dedicated staff.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. There's a few.
I love that the two of you are learning about some of this stuff in real
I
time.
barely take my laptop.
Well, I was working on an order earlier today, and I like to finish. Well, of course, I like to finish what I start. That's a very good quality to have as a person,
I think so.
Especially a manager. But I was going back and forth with a lady, and they have a launch coming up. I can't talk much about it yet.
Ooh, tease.
Yes, it's a little tease, but we were going back and forth, and then we ended up just nailing something down. I was like, I cannot set this down until I've worked out all the details, do all my sketches, and then I feel like, okay, now it's done. So we definitely pride ourselves in good quality work, and it's I'm not surprised to hear that Matthew would do that. He's a very hard worker.
Yeah. Anyway, those are just some of the stories. Other like silly little side quests that I've had here. I think me and my coworker Mason, who's out there right now, we're usually kind of we're the ones who have to do a lot of actual heavy lifting. Like people say like, oh, I do a lot of heavy lifting metaphorically. No, we physically do. So there was one time that I had to go over to where we keep all of our merchandise. We call it the annex. I don't know if you know that. Okay. Anyway, yeah. It's basically like this little warehouse. It's full of like these really tall shelves. And Christmas just ended, and we had to take all these massive boxes filled with some of the merchandise and put it back up onto the shelf to store for next year. So I was asked to do that. My arms were very sore that day. And in the moment, I was like, dude, this kind of sucks. But afterwards, I was like, you know what? Actually, that wasn't that bad. Yeah. And I went back out and just served people cake. So
Nice. I love it.
Sold a creeper cake. Is that what you said?
No, I said I said sold people cake.
Oh, I thought you
people.
said sold a creeper cake. I was like, what's a creeper cake?
Well, I think
It's a Minecraft thing.
Yeah,
Don't worry
Minecraft.
about it.
yeah, probably. Or it
Yeah,
could be a
that's a-
monster truck. I don't know.
Yeah, anyway.
So as you reference Christmas decorations and all sorts of things that are here during the holiday season, what was your first holiday season like here?
In a word, hectic.
Yeah.
In several words, it was very interesting because I've never worked like retail in quotes. I'm going to say that. I've never worked as a specialist, if you will. So it was definitely different going from, well, I'll say Ben & Jerry's got really busy at some points during the summer, obviously. And they have their free cone day and line wrapped around the block. And if you know where the fire department is in Boone, it went from the Ben & Jerry's to the fire department.
Yeah, it's a long way.
That's a very, very, very long way for just a scoop of ice cream on a free cone. I get it, though. The
is
dedication, I respect it. I do. I respect the hustle. But anyway, yeah, the line was pretty much out the door for like the entire week before Christmas. People getting their Yule logs, people getting Love Feast buns and butter biscuits and our English muffins that we have during that time too. So wicked busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I had to make a ton of peppermint too. That was
Yeah.
fun.
You do okay through the first holiday season?
Yeah,
I'd like to think I did decent.
He did really well.
Yeah, he did great.
He survived.
There were, I think there were many nights that Lewis was here past
Oh,
probably
yeah, that's right.
10 o'clock,
Wow.
filling
yeah.
orders and,
Yeah.
and getting them set up for the next day. So
Yeah. During Thanksgiving, there were, I think, 2 or 3 nights. We closed the store at 9, and it was me and a few other people. We had to stay very late because they were still making pies for Thanksgiving. And we had to wait for them to finish to box all the pies so that we can put them on the shelves or whatever orders that we had. And I don't remember how late I stayed. I think it was almost midnight for like 2 days. So it was pretty late.
Wow.
Yeah.
we respect that hustle.
Yes, we do
I
respect that.
appreciate it. Hey, yeah, it's just what I do.
Yeah. In your experiences and what you've done, it's impressive, and I love hearing the stories. Is there anything that you see other people doing around here where you're saying, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to try that?
Ooh. I think because I've done a lot of stuff for like the specialists category, I'll say. I guess the next other thing would be like figuring out how to write on a cake. That'd be kind of cool. I'd like to learn that because I think it was Mary who works up there. She's learning how to decorate cakes, and she was showing me how you're supposed to write on it. I picked up one of the little icing bags, and I held it as if I'm writing like a pencil. And she said, "No, you're supposed to hold it like this." And she like fisted it like a child holding a crayon.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "You're supposed to hold it like this. So you can like squeeze it with like your palm, and then that's how you're supposed to write with it." And I was like, "Oh God, that's so weird." So I tried it, and I'm like, "Not."
You got to learn a whole new writing grip
Yes.
and everything. Yeah.
Yes. So I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. But I feel like it'd be really useful because a lot of the times, like I close, right? I'm usually on the closing shift. And a lot of times people come in really, really late and they need like a cake with writing on it. It's like, oh, well, no one here can write on a cake. So I'm sorry, you can get like a plain cake and get like one of the little toppers. that we have, and most of the time they're like, okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, but you'd like to be able to help them out.
I'd like actually be able to like, yeah, let me write on it real quick. What you wanted to say? Just happy birthday? I can do that. There you go.
Yeah,
You know?
it's a unique skill, isn't it?
It is a unique skill.
Writing on a cake's hard.
I always say if you have good handwriting on paper, you'll have good handwriting on a cake.
And see, that's the thing. I don't have good. I write like a cartoon character, which maybe some people do want.
Some people might want that. Yeah,
right.
You never know.
You might surprise yourself though. I've seen it not hold true, but
Yeah. Okay.
we'll get you with Navy, and Navy can train anybody. So I bet she can train you to write on a cake.
Yeah,
There
she'll
you
whip
go.
me into shape. I'm sure. I don't know. She'll be worried.
What's the? I loved asking this question previously to Kayla and Jennifer, but what's the most unique design that you've been able to see for yourself?
See,
That's not AI generated.
right. Yeah. Right. Oh, I'm trying to remember. There was this one cake that one of our decorators was working on, and it was, I think it was a Jurassic Park cake.
Cool.
He had to sculpt a little like Velociraptor out of Rice Krispie treat and then cover it with fondant.
What is fondant?
Okay, I don't really know how to describe it. Think of like Play-Doh, but actually edible.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And also it tastes a little bit better than Play-Doh. Just a little bit. I'm not a big fan of fondant myself. There's marshmallow fondant. That's actually decent.
Okay.
Which is just marshmallow. But
Okay.
I mean, whatever. But
Sure.
yeah, anyway. So he had to sculpt this little Velociraptor on top of the Jurassic Park cake and then put little other fondant dinosaurs around it too. And just, oh my God. I don't know how you would do that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You ever want to get it? I mean, writing is maybe the first step in this, but
Oh, yeah.
would being an actual designer, and I don't know if anyone could ever reach Navy's level, but
No.
But
I don't dare even step to that. She would humble me so fast. Are you kidding me, dude? She would look in my general direction. I'd be like, I'm so sorry. Maybe I apologize.
I love that. But would you ever want to dip your toe in the designing waters?
Maybe a little bit. I don't like for some of our basic designs. I think maybe, but like sculpting a little dinosaur, maybe not. I could probably do that with clay, but not fondant.
Yeah.
Or that's too hard.
Yeah. All right. So what do you want anybody that's listening to know in terms of if they're trying to go ahead and get their plans ready for whether it's Easter or something else happening in the spring? What do you want to say to people that say, hey, come in here and this is how we can help take care of you for what you want to do?
Okay. One, place your orders ahead of time because there's a good chance that if you come in on Easter and we're out of Hot Cross Buns, I'm just saying, you're going to be out of luck.
As we said earlier, once
That's
they're
right.
gone, they're gone.
Hot ticket item.
Hopefully we don't run out. Someone might be out of a job. Someone would be me if we ran out.
Yeah, anyway, place your orders ahead of time. Obviously, you don't need to, like I said before, you don't really need to know exactly what you need yet. That's why we're here to help you. We will walk you through everything. And if you ever want to do something a little extravagant, you can always email us like an image of whatever cake that you like found on Pinterest or whatever, and we'll be able to actually take care of that.
Yeah.
So
how can they utilize the website local.deweys.com to help with this?
They can go online and go under the Easter category. We have a bunch of new designs that I think Navy just launched. They're all up there.
yeah, that's right. Seamless plug, by the way. That was good. Yeah, dude. No, that's good.
We try.
That was local.deweys.com. LOCAL dots period Deweys.
No apostrophe in the URL.
No.
But yeah, you can order online. A really easy way.
That's also very, very easy to do too.
Yeah.
Because then we just take the little ticket that we get and then slap it on a form and hand it to our decorators.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode on the Triad Podcast Network. Our mission is simple: provide information, advice, and stories about the people and places that make the North Carolina Triad such a great place to be. You can find us by searching Triad Podcast Network on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much wherever you like to listen. If you like what you heard and want to support the show and those that contribute, we would truly appreciate a rating and review on your favorite podcast app. It helps spread the word along, as do your shares on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Triad Podcast. To get in touch with us, simply email info@triadpodcast.com. Thanks for listening.
This is the Triad Podcast Network.